Okay. Hello and a very good evening. Hi, Shruti. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
So today we have Shruti Kotwal, India's fastest ice speed skater. She holds many national records, and I'm sure I'm very honored to be here today to do this interview with you today. And thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you for
So.
having me.
Uh, I just wanted to ask you, how do you like to be associated frequently?
Can you say it again? It's this
I'm
is
sorry,
very
I'm so
bad.
sorry. How do you like to be associated frequently?
How couldn't hear you?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, wait,
Uh,
only when you come closer, I think.
oh, sorry. I think I'll do that then.
Okay.
Perfect. So we're good to go?
Yeah.
So, to begin with, how do you like to be associated?
How do I like to be called as? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I usually tell people that I'm an ice speed skater, but because speed skating is not very popular in India, I have to mention I'm an ice speed skater. So that's
Right.
how people understand. Otherwise, if I
Yeah.
just say ice skating, people usually imagine a figure skater, like someone who's dancing on ice. Or if I just say speed skating, then they imagine roller skating, so
Yes.
skating on roads. So I have to mention ice speed skater. So that's how, just because it's easier for people to understand.
Right. It's not a very hot or a common topic of
Yeah.
conversation when it comes to talking about sports.
Yes.
So what motivated you? Who was your mentor for this?
I did not really have a mentor in India because I'm the first woman in India to take this sport. And there is nobody to really look up to in India. But at the same time, there are lots of ice skaters here. The only difference is that we're not able to become professional or get into those big leagues because we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the resources to get there.
Right.
So I think I don't really have a mentor as such, unfortunately. But I've had a lot of good coaches over the past few years. In every country that I have traveled, I've had I've been lucky enough to have some really good coaches.
Right. So do you have like an inspiration, or did you like see someone like a sports person doing this, or probably on television, that probably motivated you to do this?
So with inspiration, I want to say again, the biggest inspiration was to have India's flag on the World Cup circuit
Right.
because there has never been one, or to have that flag on the Olympics. And like I said, whenever I would travel, I was kind of the face of speed skating internationally for India. So that was a driving force. It would always make me feel like I don't just want to be a skater who's from India, but I want to be that skater who's actually qualifying and being called out as one of the best skaters in the world, and not just a skater from India.
Right.
So that was my driving force. So my inspiration was always skaters abroad. I really like some international skaters. I look up to them, learn a lot from them. But yeah, nobody here in India, unfortunately, because I'm the one who's starting. Hopefully, I can be that for the
I'm
next
sure
generation.
you can. I'm so sure you can be the inspiration now.
Thank you.
So, moving on, I'm sure you may relate to mental health issues today. They are such a crucial aspect of life at this moment too. So, I mean, stress is also a part and a daily routine of a sports person, and it
Yeah.
can sometimes like be motivational, but also sometimes just like pull you back and act like a barrier. So, what is it that you would like to tell our viewers today? How do you cope with it?
I think stress has become a part of everyone's life, no matter what field you're in nowadays.
Right,
Especially with all this going on right now, I think everyone is kind of in stress. No matter what you do, even if you just have to sit at home, you're in stress
right,
right now. But as an athlete, I think I the way I cope up with stress is I kind of like to write down what affects me,
Right.
and I also work with a mental training coach because it's very important. I've neglected that aspect of my um, training for a very long time because I wasn't aware. I didn't have the exposure.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 I can.
Yeah. Okay. So wasn't very aware of this aspect of mental training, but now that I have the access to it, I think mental training is the most important thing. Actually, it is so important because if you neglect that, your physical training, no matter how hard your training, is going to go all in vain if you're not mentally fit.
True. I
Um,
am studying, actually, I'm studying psychology, and I know how important mental health today is. So
yes,
I
yes.
totally agree with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can be training 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, but if you're not mentally fit, at the end of the day, you're going to go on your starting line of a race and you're not going to perform, you're not going to give your best because you're not, mentally in the
Right.
place where you
Right.
should be. So, all that hard work actually goes in vain if you're not working on your mental health. So, you have
Right.
to constantly, yeah, there's so many aspects to mental health, but I want to say talking out to a friend or to someone or a family member or anybody in general really helps, not keeping things in mind, venting out if you've had a bad race, if you've had a
True.
bad
True.
match, whatever.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really keep it in.
Right.
So get it out, sulk if it's a bad day, bad race, and then give yourself some time and then move on. That's how I
Okay.
cope with my stress.
Okay. So do you have like a scenario maybe that you would like to share with us regarding this?
Um, like in which aspect are you trying to say? So just
I mean,
mental health in
probably,
general?
probably mental health or stress, or probably how you do it daily, or maybe even as an upcoming ice speed skater. How is it that I'm pretty sure like everyone would have been like, this probably has no scope. Try to demotivate you or pull you back. So
Right.
how is it that you try to cope yourself? Like, it's probably right now maybe, you have professional help. But
Yeah.
earlier when you didn't have professional help, you didn't know what
Yes.
was going on with you mentally. So how did you, do it by yourself?
Um, well, if I have to talk about my personal experience, I'll say so I've been traveling a lot because there's no infrastructure in India, and I've lived in Canada for about 4 years just for ice skating. And when I was training and living in Canada, I was really struggling with. I was trying to fit in, but at the same time, I wanted to be myself. So I was
Yeah,
struggling with my identity. I had a huge identity crisis. I wanted to be that Indian girl who's skating, but at the same time, I didn't want that attention just to be that Indian girl. So
right.
I'm the only brown skin on ice, so you can imagine I get a lot of attention.
I
Um,
can agree. Yeah.
yeah. So in this entire sport, there is nobody from South Asia, no girls from South Asia who are representing. So it's very easy for me to, catch attention.
Mm,
But I wasn't enjoying that. I was getting very stressed about that actually, because it made me feel like everyone's watching me, everyone's keeping a track of my performance, everyone wants to see how she does in every single race. So that
right.
made me feel like I really don't want people to watch my races. So I stopped posting about my races and then I stopped writing my results because it would make me feel like everyone's just there to judge me. Because there's so much lack of representation, and I'm the first woman to represent, not just from our country, like I said, but South Asia in general. So it really made me feel like I don't want to. I took the stress in such a way that was literally hiding. I wouldn't
Mm,
post anything. I wouldn't share my results. I wouldn't tell my friends that, oh, I'm racing tomorrow or I have a competition.
yeah,
I was lacking a lot of confidence. It would make me feel like, I don't want to go out there until I know that I will have a good race. And that's not how it works. You can't have every race, cannot be good.
agree.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a time when I was really struggling with what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing, because as an athlete who's representing the country, a lot of people have expectations from you, and um, it's quite a, I mean, it's quite a responsibility to to get back to all of those people. So now I'm used to it, but initially it was a huge deal. So the way I started dealing with it is I started writing small posts about what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, because we all know we just post our strengths on social media. We don't really post our weaknesses.
Right.
We only have our happy moments. We only have our podiums. We don't really have our moments of disgrace, or
Hmm.
when we're feeling down. We don't really make those posts. So I
Right.
actually decided to write about those days.
That's
It takes
really
a
nice.
lot of willpower to do that, but I'm at a point where I can actually comfortably sit down and even write about my setbacks. But that makes you feel really good, because it makes you feel like a huge burden is off your shoulders, and people actually come out and support, and some of them really support you. So that makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, okay, not every race I should be winning, not every race should be good, or people expect, but they know you're a human being.
Right. Right. But that's really good. I mean, even letting out stuff yourself is a very, it's very difficult and kind of like not many people appreciate it, and even in India today, like in the society.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, as a sports person, I know how much, I don't know, I mean, but like as a mental health student, I understand it completely.
yeah,
And I wish, and I'm glad that, us, like even you, like sports person, like, are promoting this.
yeah.
So, my next question is, like, what was your journey before you started ice skating?
Um,
Like your
so I don't think
childhood?
anybody in India, especially a girl in India, will just wake up one day and say ice skating is going to be my
Yeah,
career.
yeah,
That will not happen. That will
yeah.
not happen in India, because a we don't really support sports as careers unless it's cricket.
True.
Um, and then B, we don't really have the resources and infrastructure for a winter sport like this. This comes under Winter Olympics. So we don't
Hmm.
have any infrastructure for that. So with me, things happened. One thing led to the other. I was just a regular girl who had sports as her thing every day. So even before and after school, I was training for roller skating. So all my life, I've been an athlete.
Right.
I have done a lot of nationals in roller skating, and then there was a point where I was kind of done with roller skating. I was done with how things worked here, and I wanted to try a different sport, but I really like skating. So I was at a place where I was like, I really like skating, but I don't want to do this anymore. So I heard of ice skating. It was happening in Shimla. There was a camp, and
Mm.
they invited all the top roller skaters to come and try out ice skating. I went
Okay.
there, I tried, I did a camp. I really liked it. I actually really enjoyed it. And I thought this sport is much more technical, it's much more fair. And I really enjoyed ice skating. So I took it up, but again, it was not a career option at that time, because you have to go all the way to Shimla.
Yeah.
And it's on natural ice. So it comes out only once in a year. I mean,
Right.
only in winters.
Yeah.
So what do you do the rest of the year? I mean, you can't be an
Yeah.
ice skater all year in India.
Yeah.
So I was still not sure anyway. So I would just go to Shimla every year. I would do the camp, would play the nationals. Then I started winning those nationals, and then it made me feel like, okay, this is nice. I should probably, think about this. And
Yeah.
then one day, there was this scholarship that was given. That was open out to Indian athletes. They offered to go to an academy in Germany. The best ice skaters in India would be able to go to Germany on a scholarship. And then I got selected for that. So my first ever exposure to an international ice skating rink was through this scholarship. I went abroad. I saw how an international ice skating rink looks like, and my eyes were like wide open, because I was skating on this crappy, little thing in Shimla, and I got to go to the one of the best rinks in the world and some of the best skaters. My coach was like a world champion,
Yeah.
so suddenly got exposed to this huge sport, and Olympics was still never on mind because I had never stepped on a professional rink before. I had never stepped with like professional skates before. So after going to Germany, I got an exposure to all these things. Um, and that's when it all started. That's when I was like, wow, this is nice. I really want to do this. And I was still in college. So I just came to India and I gave my exams because obviously I missed all my college. So I
Mm.
gave 19 exams together, my second year and third year. I cleared my graduation and then after that I moved to Canada.
Wow. Great.
Yeah.
So I think now that we have established that, ice speed skating is like all about balance, right? So, I mean,
Balance?
yeah, like, is it about
Yeah.
balance, like ice speed skating, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
requires like a tremendous amount of balance. So,
Yes.
were you like inspired by your sport, and did it teach you, like, so how did you like maintain your work-life balance altogether? Probably, did your sport like inspire you?
So you're saying how I did my work-life balance?
Yeah, so like, because like probably you from probably through your sport you've learned that my sport is all about balancing, right? So like,
Right.
did you take up that and put it in your
Yeah.
life, and did you own
I
up to
think
that?
any athlete in general is very can multitask much more than an average person is what I think because from childhood we are used to doing our school plus our sport. We don't just go to school, but we also do our sport and we're still going to school. So we're not giving up on education, but we are giving so many years of our life to the sport. So I think right from childhood we are learning to multitask with school
Right,
and sport, balancing both the things.
right, right.
And after that, I think skating in general has been so challenging because you're standing on this small little blade that is like almost like standing on a knife,
Hmm.
and you're trying to not just stand on it, but you're trying to get really fast on it. So you have to be the fastest to actually
Yeah,
perform. So I think learning so many things, I learned that skating is not just about balance, but it also about technique. It's about power, stamina, endurance. You just need everything, a little bit of everything.
true.
So it initially it made me feel like it's very exhausting because I wasn't prepared. In India, I didn't even have the means, or I didn't know that this sport has so much. But as I started learning and as I started doing a lot of things, made me feel like all the other things in life were much much easier. So trying to
True.
do the sport that was so demanding and that needed so much out of me, it took so much that everything else in life started seeming like it's easy.
Wow.
So I think that helped me in my life in general.
I myself have like tried to do ice skating once, but I've fallen on my back like a lot of times. So
I
I don't
think you
think it's.
should just you should persist. It's not that hard.
I mean, I genuinely would be so interested in it. I mean, it's quite fascinating, but it's like it's so cold too. And us Indians, I don't think we are so used to the cold on a rink, like, because like it
Yeah.
freezes your hands and your nose and
I
everything.
think us Indians, we get intimidated with the cold first.
Yeah,
We're very
I think
intimidated with
that's
the
the
cold.
first barrier that we see.
Yeah.
So I think your mantra, as we say, I think you have said that before, that it's like when you know when you know the inside, the outside will just figure it out.
Yeah.
So do you use this mantra in like your life, or like what does it mean to you?
So this took me a very long time to figure out. Obviously, I've had a very long rough patch because being the first person, I didn't have anybody to actually follow. I didn't have anybody to guide me. I would always travel alone for months and months, Canada, Netherlands, and all these other places all by myself. I didn't have a coach from India. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have anybody who would, tag along with me. So
Yeah.
that was the most challenging part of the whole journey. Actually, skating and other things were not as hard as it was to manage everything on my own, because
Mhm.
right from finding a coach, finding an academy, finding a ring to skate, everything had to be done by myself, because like I said, I'm the first one and there is no help from the government or there are no private sponsors. So that stress, or in general, being so responsible so early in life,
Mhm.
made me feel like, if I had all these things in place like a normal athlete would have, if I would have had a coach, one coach for my entire life, or if I would have had a manager, I wouldn't have to stress about all these things, and then my performance would have been much much better, because I would actually focus on skating and not this, you know.
Yes. Working it
So
out for
it
yourself.
took away, yeah, it took away a lot of my energy
Right.
into trying to manage my life in general. So I think, and finally, after years and years and years of doing that, I actually figured how to do everything by myself. And then
Right.
my performance was starting to get better. Because everyone would always tell me, oh, you really, this is not your job. You're just an athlete. You should just skate. But I was like, do I have a choice? I don't have a choice in my case. I have to
Mhm.
be my own manager. I have to like do everything on my own. So I figured that when I didn't have to worry about these things, my performance was getting better. So, which obviously means that when my head was in the right space and when I was actually mentally fit, I was performing well.
Right.
So, without doing anything extra, just with the same amount of effort, same amount of practice, same amount of training, but my stress was taken away. So, ultimately, my performance was getting better. And that made me come up with this, that my if my inside is really, fit, outside just falls into place. You don't have to do anything extra to make that happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So so what is your mantra to like staying fit and calm? Like before a race, like there's so much anxiety.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself? So did you have a mantra for like that, to staying fit, but also to like staying calm?
Staying calm and being fit at the same time, you're saying?
Sorry?
Are you trying to say, being fit and staying calm, how do I do that at the same time?
I mean, not at the same time, but do you have a mantra for that? Like, just like you have a mantra for like, just handling things and balancing your work and life together. So
Yeah.
do you have a mantra for this too?
I think, see, staying fit has to, first of all, it has to come from inside. Nobody can force that onto you. So I can tell you, a whole lot of things to do, but if you don't want to be fit from inside, or you don't have certain goals, you're never going to do it. And me
Yeah,
asking you to do something versus you actually wanting to do it is the biggest
right,
difference.
right.
So in my case, initially with the typical Indian mentality that I had, I would always be like, okay, I'll not do it until the coach doesn't tell me to do it. I'll only do it if the coach is watching me, or things like that. So that's when
Yeah,
you're immature, or that's when you are not doing it for yourself. You're actually only doing it for the coach. But the day when you do it on your own, with your own self discipline, and the coach is not even watching you, the coach is not even telling you to do it, but you're still doing it, that means you're actually doing it for yourself. So I think the mantra is obviously self discipline. You just have to, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. And
right,
yeah, that's how I do it, because fitness is something that has to be your lifestyle, and it's not something like, it's not a crash course. So I'm
right.
totally against anybody who comes up with a 30-day challenge and a 35-day challenge and crap like that, because what are you going to do after those 35 days? I mean, I don't get it. So
Right,
it has to be your
right.
lifestyle,
Yeah,
and it has to be a habitual thing. Like you wake up, you work out, and then you get through your whole day.
right.
It's not a crash course, or it doesn't happen out of someone forcing you. So
We
yeah,
we say the same thing. This is actually our motto and mantra to it happily fit, like it's a lifestyle. It's not a
it's a
temporary
lifestyle.
thing. If you
Yes.
want see yourself there, then you should probably do it, and
Yeah,
like consistency is key, as they say.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
nobody tells you to eat. I mean, if I tell
right,
you don't eat, you're still gonna go and eat. So
right,
why do we have to tell you to go out and work out? I mean, do it for your body, just like you eat.
right,
You eat for your body, so you work out for your body. It is for yourself. I don't understand people who actually act like they're working out for someone else. I mean, you are gonna benefit from your own workout. Nobody else is gonna benefit from your
right.
workout.
True.
So yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lifestyle. It's not just one day that you say it. So,
Yeah.
right, agree completely. So, I mean, winning, as you said, is not very important to you, right? So, I mean, because winning every time is, I mean, if do you think that it's not physically possible, or like, how do you
Yeah.
not stress over it?
I would lie if I say that I don't stress over it. I do stress over winning. That's how I got till here, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, the will to win, and it's not the will to win, I want to say the will to give my best. That's how I will put it. The will to give my best, and when I don't give my best, even if I am on the podium and I haven't given my best, I know, for example, if I won a medal in a race, but deep down inside, I know that I didn't give my 100% in that race, then I
right,
don't think I'll still be happy with that race. So just because I won does not mean that I'm satisfied. I
right.
want to reach my own potential. And many times after my race is done, I feel like I could have done better. So I think that's what keeps me going because it's not my 100%.
Yeah, like they say, be a sport. So,
Yeah, exactly.
right. So
And I
I
don't
think,
think anybody should ever be satisfied with their results. Even if you won a gold medal, I don't think that should be a moment where you feel like, okay, I'm satisfied. Because even if you came first, you've still made mistakes. And there
right,
is always scope to improve.
true. So I think my next question for you is that there's a very well saying that, patience is also a key to success. And like, I mean, along with everything else, patience is like probably on a hierarchy. So, what tips would you like to share to the next generation, or to today's generation? Since like anxiety, as they say, is like number one concern of like even mental health today. So restlessness is very common. So how do what tips would you like to share with them, on being patient and how it can help them out maybe?
Um, I want to say focused on the long game, on the big goal. But at the same time, you should have these small goals in mind all the time. So, for example, if I'm trying to qualify for the Olympics, I'm not gonna think. I mean, Olympics is always at the back of my mind, but I'm not gonna wake up and keep talking about Olympics. So, to get to the Olympics, I need to have these small goals every single day,
Right, right,
and I think this is what my coach always told me. Having small goals is actually a plan, and that plan makes you feel like you will actually achieve that big goal.
right,
So, patience is important, and how you deal with your patience is by keep giving yourself these small goals.
right.
Uh, by having something set for every day and achieving those goals every single day, so you'll be
Yep,
focused on that thing that you have to do that very day, and at the
right.
same time you'll get it achieved so that you can, that helps you in your long game.
Hmm.
But of course, nowadays it's really, really important to be more patient because I don't see that around a lot. I know a lot of, like, I have my academy and I have a lot of parents coming up to me and saying that we want our child to go to the nationals in a year, and so that's the time we have. We're paying this and this amount. So the first thing I tell them, it's not going to happen with this
Right,
attitude. Just because you paid does not mean that anything wonderful is just suddenly going to happen, because everybody who comes here pays, and you cannot buy medals.
true.
So if you really want to do this, you have to be patient, because you cannot put your son or your daughter, on this. time machine where you cannot just have this timer in your hand and say, okay, we've got 1 year and you have to do this and that. That's very unfair for the child, because then the child has to also enjoy the whole process. And if your child is not enjoying the whole process, it obviously means that you're in the wrong place. So I want to say enjoying the process, at the same time having small goals will keep you motivated, and that's how you'll try to have patience. But every now and then we all lose patience. I do as well. So I think
Yeah.
it's very normal.
So you're trying to say, like, to like probably keep satisfying or distracting yourself from
Yes.
restlessness, and just keep going and probably appreciate even the small things, and not just wanting
Yes.
every time just like very big stuff,
Yeah.
and like not being very greedy about it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So I think this is like, a big takeaway for our viewers today. Like, we should have like small goals and appreciate the little things in life, which I
Yeah.
think right now in this scenario, I think everyone should do to keep themselves calm as well.
Exactly. Especially, I mean, this is applicable to anything and
So,
everything.
of course, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was saying even if someone wants to lose weight and if your goal is to lose 20 kilos, so you're not
Right,
gonna like, you don't have to be just happy the day you lose 20 kilos. Every day, if you're losing a few grams, that is still success.
right,
So, you should still reward yourself, and these small goals will help you achieve that big goal, which is of 20 kilos. So
right.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's just like as they say. I think there's this kahavat in Hindi, "Choti choti khushiyan." So you should
Yeah.
just keep taking pride
Yes.
in it, and the small things in life, right?
Yes.
So, moving on, my next question for you is, how are you dealing with the new normal? I
Can you
mean,
repeat that?
how are you dealing with the new normal? Like
Oh, the new
right
normal.
now. Yeah, like, I mean, you have academy, as you said, and
Yes.
how working, and I saw your Instagram, sorry, and you just got married recently. So how are you balancing it online? There are so many distractions, probably, family and ghar ka kaam or whatever that is.
Yeah. So basically, I have lived alone for so long in so many countries, in Canada especially, and I've done everything by myself. I mean, you don't have help over there.
Yeah,
So I would cook, I would train, I would come back, clean, do everything. So I'm used to that. That's actually not a problem at all. Getting married, part of your question, I got married to my best friend. So we completely understand each other. It's not a very typical situation where I have to come back and work and no such crap. Is also an athlete, so he
yeah.
understands me very well. He actually gives my skating and my training top priority. So that has to be done first, and then other things come later.
True,
Um,
that's very important. Like,
yeah, that's very important. I don't think I would have gotten married otherwise.
yeah,
Uh,
having like a supportive partner is so important today. I
Yeah,
mean, understanding.
exactly. So the reason I got married is because I have a partner who understands and completely supports this.
Yeah.
So that is that part. And I think the new normal, with my academy, it hasn't opened up yet because we're not allowed to. And unfortunately, that has affected our everything, because that is our source of income. So that has definitely affected us, but that has also left us with so much time.
Mhm.
So I don't get so much time to be home. I don't get so much time to be with my family. So I'm utilizing that, and then I can do all these interviews and everything because I never had so much time at hand. So I think that would be the positive to this. But of
Yeah.
course, I miss coaching. I miss having my academy, and I hope that things get normal soon and we can go back to being outdoors.
Yeah, I think everyone here wishes the same. Uh,
Exactly.
so I think to conclude, we want to know what your future plans are, and if you could talk about your academy a little more, and your advice as like as an aspiring sports person to like everyone out there, probably right now, the one thing that even you have done to keep yourself calm.
So my future. goals I want to say are, obviously I don't have anything else in mind other than qualifying for the Olympics.
Oh,
I would like to be that first Indian to be there and represent. So that's happening in 2021. The goal is to train as hard as possible for that. Um, and Yeah, so whatever I do and everything I do is keeping that in mind, Olympic
mm,
qualification, because I know the I don't just want to say a female, but no Indian has ever qualified in my sport from India. So that'll be a big deal if I can do that. That's the goal for the next 2 years. Just train for Olympics until then. And as far as my academy is concerned, it's called Pursuit Sports Academy. It's in Pune, and we coach kids because there is no ice. Obviously, we coach them on roller skates, and
mm,
whenever we get an opportunity, we travel and we go to places where there's ice,
mm,
and I take camps where I can teach these roller skaters on ice, because obviously if you have a base, just like I had a roller skating base, that's why I could pick up ice skating quicker.
right.
So I mean, if I didn't have a skating background, I don't think I would have been here today. So whatever I am is because of my background of skating. So I teach my kids roller skating in such a way that they can quickly pick up ice skating. And luckily, I have traveled so much, and I have had the opportunity to train with some of the best coaches. So I use all that, and I teach the little kids that come to my academy.
Mm,
And yeah, so a lot of skaters on my track already can ice skate, because we've taught them that, and we take them around. So the goal is just to keep doing that.
wow. Okay, so I think what we have, like what we see. I mean, is it like very different? Like ice speed skating is very different from roller skating.
It's not very different. I think the biggest challenge is it requires more balance, because, like I said, this is on wheels while this is on blades. Ice
Mhm.
skating is on blades, and
Right.
blades are thinner. So, balance, I mean, you have to balance much more.
Mm,
But the muscles that are used, the technique is quite similar, and there's a lot of similarities between roller skating and ice skating. The difference is obviously the surface, wheels, and blades. Yeah,
wow. So I think we are finally over with all our questions right now.
yeah.
I just want to ask, would you like to give like a conclusion, like a concluding message to our viewers, like to like the whole session that we've been through today, like a one last like kind of message that you would like to share.
Um, I think the message that I'd like to give is support unconventional athletes in sports like mine.
Mhm.
Let's not stick to these few sports that we know. Let's open up. Let's welcome more sports
True.
and more athletes. Let's support them. Also, don't try to get your kids into these conventional sports because you think they're very glamorous or because of what you see on TV. The inside picture is very different. So do what you like more than what you want them to do, or where you find your happiness. So
Right.
yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time without any support, but because it makes me happy, I'm doing it. So no regrets.
Right. That's why I think that is why we call ourselves happily fit,
Yeah,
because I think the main motto is just to do what you like and choose your whatever that you want to do and not
yeah,
anyone forcing it on you and because that will never
exactly.
help or work out.
Yes, true.
Okay. I think our session for today is sorry. Sorry. So today, I think for our viewers, I would just like to give like a giveaway message that winning always doesn't matter, and we don't have to, as you said, like lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, not just one day. And we have to be fit for ourselves, our mental health, our physical health, everything. Like it's our choice. So I think this is the three most important things that I think our viewers should take away today as their message. So,
Yeah.
thank you again, Shruti. Thank you so much for doing this. Honestly, it gives me great pleasure, and I've had so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And keep
Would you
doing
like
what
to
you do.
say or add anything else to this?
Do I want to add anything else? No, I think you covered everything. Um, I think I was very elaborate with my answers, so I covered almost everything.
Yes, thank you so much. It's genuinely a very big help for everyone watching us out there because right now it's very important and that people see, that it's
Yeah.
not only about one day or just like, all of that. So it's just this is what we're trying to promote, and I'm glad that you are a part of our inspiration. So we hope to see you in the Olympics soon. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.